I've tried just about everything. I don't know if this will work. I guess it's possible that it might work. I have to come on in the morning and say good morning to all my friends, even if it is chaos. So here's what's been going on this morning. I am at the Holiday Inn Express here in, hey, Nathaniel Banks. I am in the Holiday Inn Express here in Indianapolis. Um, yeah, Indianapolis, Indiana. That's right. I'm at the Holiday Inn Express, and I have tried everything with my PC to be able to go live this morning. I've tried connecting to my phone. I've tried connecting to, obviously, the hotel. Hi, Allison Musante. I've tried connecting to the hotel. I've tried talking to or connecting to my phone. I've tried different areas of the hotel. What's up, Scott Simons, Vicky Everett, Kurt Cahill, Laura Berman? I've tried everything. Jeremy Noling, I hope that you know this is all your fault. 100%, unequivocally, nobody else's fault but yours. No, I'm just teasing. I am here with Jeremy Noling. Jeremy Noling is we don't even know his title. Do we even know your title anymore, Jeremy? Jeremy is the guy who does everything for Indy Honda, and they actually have a large group. They have a large group of dealerships. Will you do me a favor? Will you tag, hey, what's up, Anthony Alagona? Hey, Mike Hubbard, will you tag people that you normally know are watching? Because I know, like, Sarah Ball, I saw her posting. I know that there's people that aren't going to get this notification because I went live like 3 times already from this page. Or, no, wait, I'm on my personal page. No, I'm on my business page. So anyways, if you would just tag people that you normally see so they could pop in here. But anyways, it's Jeremy Noling's fault. We're here looking at how we can make some changes and ultimately affect change in his dealership. So that's why I'm up here. And I am hoping that this trip here, we can really not only just affect change for Jeremy Noling and for his store, but also set some things up as I'm getting ready to launch Black Friday and so on and so forth. What's up, Brian McCafferty? Set some things up to where we won't be traveling on the road so much the next couple months as we head into the holidays. So anyways, I had this whole thing set up, obviously, this weekend, not obviously, but this past weekend at church. Scott Nickel said he made a powerful statement, and I talked about this a little bit yesterday for those of you that watched the show yesterday, but he said people are hungry for the things that unite us, and they are tired of the things that divide us, right? Hey, Sarah Ball. People are hungry for the things that unite us, and they are tired of the things that divide us. And that particular statement, it really hit home with me this weekend. I thought about it a lot. I thought about, what's up, Jean-Paul Guidry? I thought about it a lot. I thought about the state that our society is in right now, right? Like, there is so much division. And so I understand really what he's saying. I mean, you've got division as far as race. You have division as far as religion. You have division as far as pro-Trump or not pro-Trump. You know, what's the opposite of pro-Trump? You got pro-Trump or no Trump, right? Pro-Trump or no Trump. I like that. You've got like pro-life or pro-choice. Like, there's just so much division. I mean, even as far as like blue dress, white dress, right? You've got like gray shoe, pink shoe, right? Like, there's all this division that exists out there in the world. And so when he said this statement, when he said people are hungry for the things that unite us. People are hungry for the things that unite us, and people are tired of the things that divide us. It just hit me. It hit me strongly. I mean, my background, obviously my dad was African American, my mom was Caucasian, and they came from different races, and they blended and they created me. They created me, and my life followed a path that ultimately brought me to a point where now I get the opportunity to lead you as a part of the Rise and Grind group. I've been able to lead people in the automotive industry. I've had an opportunity to lead my family which is this complete blended family, everything hodgepodge crazy from my blonde-haired, blue-eyed daughter that I don't know where the heck she came from, but she's gorgeous. From her, just all the different tones, all the different, skin colors, all the different personalities, all the different beliefs that even go on in just my own home. Like together, united, we are so much stronger than we are when we're divided. So that's been heavy on me, since Sunday, since he talked about that, and I started thinking, like, what is our role in that? What is my role in that? How can we translate that? How is that important? Like, how can we really learn from that, right? Like, how can we learn from that and apply it in our business? How can we learn from that and apply it in our family lives? How can we learn from that and apply it socially? And as I was thinking about those things this morning and this week, as I was thinking about it more and more, I was thinking, man, it's so interesting. You see, when I grew up, there was a gentleman named Alfredo Ulibarri. I had some pictures of him for you, but we're doing things a little bit different today. But as I grew up, there was this gentleman named Alfredo Ulibarri, and he looked very much like me. We looked very much alike, same skin color. We had the same chickenpox scar on the same side of our face. Like, we looked so much alike that I used to, when a teacher would catch me doing something, I'd tell the teacher, like, if they saw me off in the distance or whatever, I'd tell the teacher, like, no, that was Alfredo, that wasn't me. That was Alfredo. You've got me mixed up, teacher. And they would go and they would get Alfredo, and Alfredo would say, no, that was Glenn. What are you talking about? That was Glenn. And we point the finger back and forth to the point where the teachers didn't know who the heck did what, and they'd have to let us go. I remember one time we wanted to mess with his mom, and so I walked into his house first, and I just kind of walked through. I was like, hey, Mom. And she was like, hey. And I went into the room, and then a few minutes later, Alfredo comes through. He's like, hey, Mom. And she was like, wait, wait a minute. Right? So Alfredo and I looked very much alike. We were like, he was like my doppelganger, man. We looked so much alike when we were kids. His last name is Ulibarri, Alfredo Ulibarri. But what's interesting about that is, see, I grew up half black and half white, and Alfredo actually was half Mexican. And so we had different nationalities, but we looked very much the same. Now, fast forward in life, Alfredo chose to really dive into his Spanish or Mexican, I'm not sure which he prefers, but he really chose to dive into that side of his heritage, right? Like, he chose, is anyone else craving pasta? What are you doing, Sarah Ball? He chose that heritage, and he really dove into that culture deeply. And here today, he's 41 years old, just like I am. And so here today, he's a rapper, and he works hard out there. And when you look at his profile and if you look at his pictures, you'll see that he has got like a traditional Hispanic heritage, right? Traditional Spanish. He's surrounded by other Spanish people or Mexican people. And I just find it really, really interesting, because when we were young, we were the same. But then as we grew older, we had to choose sides. And the sides that we choose ultimately determine where we end up. And I'm not saying I'm in a better place than Alfredo or he's in a better place than me. It's just different. And really, it can come down to, you can classify the differences based on our cultural decisions, the race that we decided to be. And so I just find it interesting that naturally, as human beings, we are naturally, like it is our in our nature to choose sides, right? It is in our nature to choose whether we're going to be a part of Team A or Team B. We can't help it. It's just something that we do. I'm sorry. My arm is getting tired from trying to hold this thing. But that's the thing. Like we're naturally inclined to choose, right? To choose. And I dive into this. Sorry, I'm all over the place this morning because it's a little bit different. This whole topic is a little difficult for me to talk about, you know? Like not just the topic of like race itself, but just the division that exists in the world. How you doing, Melissa Jones? What's up, Melissa Klein? And so I talked about this. I did a podcast with Beth. Beth Graves. You need to check it out. Her podcast is called You're Not the Boss of Me. And I did this podcast with her that she just released yesterday. It's amazing. You've got to go jump on it. And one of the things I talked about is just how there's safety in blending. There's so much safety in surrounding yourselves with other people like you. And I really dive into that, and it's not just us that does that, but it's also in the animal kingdom. And so this safety, this place that we run to when we surround ourselves with others like us, yes, it creates a safe environment. Yes, it creates a comfortable environment. But what it does, it makes it dangerous to stand out. It makes it dangerous to go out on your own. It's almost like if you don't conform, if you don't fall in, if you're not following the standard, then you're putting yourself in a dangerous situation. And see, that scares me. That scares me that we have to pick a side. You see, I remember when I was in jail, I remember going to jail, and I remember that when I first went in, I was going to be there for a little bit, 17 days, not a long time. But I remember when I first went in, I remember that the guy asked me, he's like, all right, cool. Are you going to be, like, are you a black? Are you a Mexican? Or are you white? And I was like, bro, what, I don't want to check one of those boxes. Why do I gotta pick? And he's like, that's the only way you're going to survive around here. You're either with the whites, you're with the blacks, or you're with the Mexicans. He's like, you choose, So part of me was like, all right, well, you gotta show me the roster real quick. I want to see who's on what team, right? I want to see who's on which squad before I choose a team, But that cultural decision that we have to make, or that I had to make in that situation for me, is really what a lot of people, it's the same decisions that we're making out here in the real world, right? Like, it's like you got to conform, you got to choose a side. We can't be united, we must be divided. You either love Trump or you hate Trump. You either see a red dress or you see a blue dress. You're either pro-life or you're pro-choice, right? They want everyone to stick into a box. You're either for or against. There's even division, and what I've seen in history is anytime we focus on the division, anytime that we have to select a box, it never works out great, right? It never works out good. Like, for example, Colin Kaepernick, he decided that he was going to stand up for black rights by kneeling down. He was going to focus on the division that exists in the world. He was going to focus on the difference in color and, in his beliefs, the difference in treatment. And so by attacking the area where we were united, which was our American flag, by attacking where we were united, he ultimately created division. This division ultimately created some adverse effects, and his cause disappeared. So I think about all these different things, and like I said, it gets a little bit, it's just a sensitive subject for me. And so it gets a little bit out. But ultimately what I want to share with you, and the point that I want to get across, is creating and focusing and staying divided, though seemingly safe, is not the solution. The solution is that we need to stand out and be united. That is the solution. The solution is we must stand out and be united. I'm going to give you an example. The difference between Martin Luther King, who you all know, who you all heard, you've heard his speeches, you know everything about him, right? You all know Martin Luther King, but the difference, some of you might know Malcolm X. You might know Malcolm X, you might not know Malcolm X. He's not as well known, he's not as widely popular, and here's the difference. You see, Martin Luther King stood on this pedestal of united. Let's all be united. We all are equal. White children, black children, brown children, and all the children in between. He stood on a pedestal where we all came together and united. We stood against what was wrong. Malcolm X, on the other hand, believed that we should be separate, divided. He believed in division. He believed that we were equal, but we should be separate, that we should be separated. He focused more on the division and the things that were different between us than he did on the things that were the same. You see, I have a hope and a dream and a vision for Rise and Grind. I have this hope and this dream and this big vision that united we can go out there and change the world. You see, there was a time where, like JFK, John F. Kennedy, I was reading this book with Simon Sinek, and he talks about how JFK had this moon shot, right? He pulled the country together. He got everybody together by saying, we are going to put a man on the moon. That's what we're going to do. Right? In the next 9 years, we're going to put a man on the moon. And he united the country. People of all ages were watching. People of all ethnicities were supporting. Like, it was crazy how he united the country. And yet, here we are again today in 2019. And there's so much division. Do you see the difference? JFK united, Colin Kaepernick divided, Martin Luther King united, Malcolm X divided. Do you see the difference? They both had a mission. They were all had a vision. They all were ultimately caring about the greater good. But it's the way they handled it. It's the way they executed. You can create division, or you can pull everyone together and unite them. People are hungry for that which unites us. And they're tired of the things that divide us. You see, it's time to stop. We live in this place called the United States of America. We live in the United States of America, not the divided States of America, and it is our differences that ultimately makes us strong. The fact that we are all unique, that we are all different, that we have different beliefs, that we have different ideas. You see, that's the way that God made it. God made us. He made you uniquely. No one else like you. He made you uniquely to be the absolute best version of yourself that you can possibly be. Because when you become the best version of yourself that you can possibly be, it makes an impact on your friends, on your family members, on your coworkers, and ultimately glorifies God. You understand that? You see, when you win at a massive level, when you go out there and you make an impact, when you touch people's lives, it ultimately glorifies God, which is what we're here to do. He gets the glory. You know those moments when you say, I don't know how it happened. It was a miracle. What a blessing. Every time you say that, you're glorifying God. That's his purpose in you as his child, is for you to be the absolute best version that you can possibly be. The higher you climb, the bigger your stage, the more people you touch, the more chances you have to glorify God. So listen, today's episode I know is crazy. I kept trying to pop on and log in and get the Wi-Fi, and it was all messed up, and today was just a little bit of a raw episode that might be a little scatterbrained. But I hope that you'll catch this. It's time. It's time. It's time for you to lock arms, to join forces. It's time for us to get over all the things that divide us, and it's time for us to become united, because people are hungry for that which unites us and tired of the things that divide us. Take a look at your relationships. Take a look at your business. Take a look at the actions that you're taking every single day. Take a look at those actions and make a decision. Are you going to be the one that unites or one that divides? If you need more videos like this, you can go to glennlundy.com. If you need some Rise and Grind gear, go to glennlundy.com. But most importantly, I will be back in the studio again tomorrow morning at 5:30 a.m. where I have a very strong signal. I'll be back in the studio tomorrow morning at 5:30 a.m. We're going to do this all over again on hashtag Rise and Grind. What's up, Denny Rust? How you doing? Pete Daly, Kim Wilson. I appreciate you guys sticking with me today. What's up, Ray Hatcher? How are you? For those of you that are watching on replay, you missed all of the chaos. It's been pretty chaotic this morning, but we did get a show, and I'm glad that you're going to get to watch, and it'll be first thing in the morning for you, and you won't know any of the difference, and I'm glad you didn't have to deal with it. But for those of you that are watching live, like Leanne Lancaster and Jennifer Jaskell, I just really appreciate you sticking with me this morning. Brad Smith and Joanna Cooper Hamilton, I appreciate you more than you ever know. You guys are amazing. Heather Jackson, Jeff Baker, you're a rock star. Josh Wilson, so great to see you, my man. Hold on, I got to do some announcements for Josh. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, 64 day. No, I'm just kidding. What's up, Derek McLean? How you doing, Jesse? I can. Sparkman, Paul Black, Michael Mills. Love the persistence. Thanks, Michael. Travis Flaherty. Thanks, my man. Terry LaPierre, Pam Biddle. Great to see you guys. Tina Bacon. You guys are crazy, man. You realize that? You crazy Rise and Grinders, dude. You guys are nuts. What time is it? You guys are nuts. You hung with me. Oh my gosh, it's already 6:15. All right, I got to get to the gym. You guys are crazy, though. I appreciate your dedication and your loyalty. You're a rock star. All right, lock arms, join forces. Pow! That's right, Janelle Griego. Michael Gazdick, great to see you. See you, Nathaniel Banks.